it's Jessii Vee, and today we're going to be talking about two very creepy stories that people claim are actually true. The first one is about a doll that actually aged, and the second one is about a doll that had growing hair. So both dolls seem to be alive in some way, and the things I'm going to tell you are things that happen to real families. So we're first going to start off with the doll that aged. So you guys know, normally when you've had a doll for a long time, it starts to deteriorate a little bit. You know, like some hair might fall off, it might get a little dirty, it gets dusty, maybe an eyeball falls out. If you've had something for a very long time, no matter what it is, it's naturally gonna wear out. But this doll didn't wear out like normal dolls do. It actually aged like a human. Its skin actually wrinkled like someone who was in their 80s or 90s. So many people believe this doll to be extremely haunted. Because trust me, I've had dolls that I've kept since 1994 and they're not wrinkly. And I mean, yes, they look old, but they don't have human wrinkles, you know? Okay, so let's get into the story of what exactly happened. Now, the family that this happened to wanted to stay anonymous. They didn't want anyone on the internet to know who they really are. I don't really know why, but I respect it. They were said to just be an average couple who had kids. And one Christmas, they gave their daughter a little doll. Now, this doll was completely your average normal doll. She had beautiful silky hair, eyes that sparkled, a dress with a lace trim. She was just an average doll that anyone would have loved to have. And the doll was very loved by this young girl. But as with most toys that kids have, they eventually grow out of them. So the doll was eventually forgotten as this little girl grew older. Eventually, the children reached their 20s and they moved out of the house. So the parents decided that instead of throwing away their old toys, they would just put them in boxes up in the attic because they still wanted to keep these older memories. And although the doll had been played with for about 10 years, it was still in pretty good condition. The skin looked the same, the hair was still all nicely brushed, it was still very clean, the doll still looked pretty perfect when they put it in this box. Now, fast forward about 11 years later. The family were having a clean out of the attic when they stumbled across a rather odd looking doll. The doll was wrinkled and aged, and it looked just like a mini old person pretty much. So they saw this doll and thought, what the heck? We've never owned a doll that looked like this. The arms were stiff and mummified. There was wrinkles running down every single part of this doll. But that's when they recognized the dress the doll was wearing. It was a beautiful dress with lace trim. And they noticed that on the box it said, kids' memories. And that's when they realized, oh my gosh, this was the doll that belonged to the daughter. It once had the face of a baby and it had now aged to something that looked like it was like 80 years old. It had aged much the same way a human does. But they said the most haunting part of the doll was the eyes. Even they looked human, and it almost looked like the doll was staring right into their souls. They got this really bad vibe, kind of like an evil presence in the attic, and they knew right away that something wasn't right. So the family decided to get rid of this doll because they had no idea what had happened to it. They gave it to new owners who happily took it from them, and now in today's time we have no idea where the doll is or what it looks like. We only have the pictures of when they found it. I just think it's so weird because in 11 years a doll shouldn't look like that. Like I said, I have dolls from 1994, that's 26 years ago, that look the exact same. So here's some theories that people have. Some people think it's totally normal and there's a logical explanation. They say that maybe the plastic on this doll's face just rotted. However, other people say, no, that's impossible. If the plastic was rotting, it would crack. It wouldn't wrinkle. And those people also think that there must be some sort of paranormal attachment to this doll. And when the family kind of just left the doll in the attic, it grew inside the doll and got older. I don't know. Other people say that maybe it's some type of cursed doll, that whoever plays with it, the spirit like takes their youth from them, and because this doll wasn't being played with, it started to get old. I don't know. The whole thing is just so weird to me, but I thought it was so interesting and really wanted to tell this this story on this channel, so definitely comment down below what you think about this doll. And now let's move on to the doll with growing hair. Okiku is a creepy old Japanese doll residing at a temple in Iwamizawa. She allegedly grows human hair and is also said to be haunted by the spirit of a little girl. Now, there are various legends that have to do with Okiku, so we're not too sure which one is the real one, but the most popular one is that this doll was originally bought by a 17-year-old boy to give to his little sister in 1918. The doll itself was around 40 centimeters tall and was dressed in a traditional Japanese kimono, and the black hair is in a traditional style cut shoulder length. So when this 17-year-old boy bought this doll originally, the hair was only up to here. It is said that this little girl loved the doll so much she played with it every single day. She took it everywhere with her, she slept with it at night. But one day this little girl unfortunately died after she caught the flu. As you guys know, back in 1918, medical care wasn't what it was now, and a lot of little kids died when they got an illness. And right after she passed away, things started acting really strange. The jet black hair of this doll started getting longer and longer every single day. And before long, the hair had grown all the way to the doll's knees. So obviously this family was so freaked out, and they thought that maybe the daughter's spirit had entered the doll, and that's why the hair was actually growing. And since they believed that their daughter's spirit might have actually been in the doll, they didn't want to just get rid of the doll. So they instead brought it to the Manaji Temple in the town of Iwamizawa in Japan. The family explained the doll's weird qualities to the priest, but he was still willing to take it. So that's actually where it resides to this day. And the doll's hair continues to grow, and people have to actually trim it very often. So if you go online and look up pictures of this doll, in each picture it's like the doll's hair length is different. It's so creepy. So this story is very famous throughout Japan. They've made like books and stories and movies about it, and no one has really been able to explain how the hair keeps growing. So people wonder, is it like an actual supernatural phenomenon, or is it a hoax? So let me know what you guys think is actually going on with this doll. Comment it down below, but honestly, I feel like it would be so cool to see in real life. But to me, anything that has to do with dolls possibly being like alive or possessed scares me so much. Anyway, so guys, that's it for today's video. If you want me to do other videos on very strange experiences with families and haunted dolls, definitely give this video a thumbs up and let me know. But I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video.